flip-flop every time between which one says hello and which one says hi. It's the opposite every time.
Well, you're welcome.
I think I said hello last time and you were like, hi.
Welcome to In-Laws in Crime.
I'm Ashley.
I am Megan, and this is In-Laws in Crime. And forgive our hair. We were just sitting here bitching about our hair.
Yeah.
Just,
I need to cut mine it's been well over a year.
and I said I look like a Shih Tzu.
I think your hair looks cute.
Well, thank you. Well, welcome. And this is our 9th episode.
Yes.
We are so excited. Today's case is going to be a crazy one, which everybody is probably going to be really familiar with. So
yeah, because it was recent, right?
Very recent, 2017 time frame. But before,
I didn't think it was that long ago. I mean, I don't know a lot about this case. I remember it happening.
Yeah.
But I don't know
yeah,
any real
details.
Yeah.
Crime Corner, our Crime Corner that we were going to start. I have nothing.
I could,
I'm sure there is something.
I remembered to look today and I found nothing really.
I was about to say, I'm sure some of y'all are probably screaming at us like, you mean to tell me you didn't? And I'm sure I did. But there wasn't anything that really stood out that flooded my.
So what I saw was updates on old things, things that were already under investigation. So nothing that happened that was new.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't want to give in the middle an update. I don't even know what happened to get to this point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I saw were just updates on things that had already happened, several months ago or whatever.
Yeah. And we have no corrections corner.
Not yet.
Not yet. Nobody's pointed it out if we should or not. So no corrections corner either. So, what do we do this weekend? What did you do this weekend?
I had my first Friendsgiving with a group of friends.
Oh, yeah. You were just talking about that.
I know. I'm really excited. We weren't 100% sure we were going to do it again next year. But then by the end of the night, we're like, hell yeah, we're doing it next year. It was so much fun.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We usually do a Friends Christmas. I think we call it Friendsmas or something. Oh, haunted sounds in the lake house. Was it a knock? Did you hear it?
Do you hear it now?
No.
Okay. Let's keep rolling.
Haunted lake house sounds. And we're filming during the day. So.
Yeah, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that little knocking at night.
But yeah, so we do a Friends Miss, I think. And we usually do it after Christmas and we combined everything. But that's always so much fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a gift exchange and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Fun time.
We do that. We do a girls' night though for Thanksgiving, and we normally do
oh, that's
most
nice.
of the time we've done sock exchanges, which is really fun. Where you take a fun little pair of socks and stuff it with all kinds of goodies, and then you do the left right game or something.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
and,
so
yeah.
cute.
So we do that a lot.
So that was fun.
The same
is that all you
group
did?
of girls? Yeah.
No,
That's
it.
Yeah. Research my case.
Yes.
Research my next case. That's what I did too on top of Friendsgiving.
Yeah, you were on it this weekend.
I wasn't as on it as you think I was. I was trying, but anyway, it is what it is.
Well, what did I do? We had my daughter's cheer awards. That was fun. And then just hung out with some friends, and that's about it. We didn't do much. So
nice weekend.
What did y'all do?
Pause
That's
for
great.
answers.
Yeah. Well, we're going to hop right in. So today's case, let me get more comfortable here. Oh, sorry if you hear that or see that or whatever. Today's case is on the East Texas Angel of Death, old William Davis. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are going to be really familiar with this. He is the nurse that was at Trinity Mother Francis that decided to go off the freaking rails. So buckle up. This one was insane. So references. I got a lot of stuff from KLTV.com, Wikipedia.com, TylerPaper.com, and CBSNews.com. And then I watched a documentary, which everybody should go watch. It was really good. Making a Serial Killer. It was season 2, episode 8. And they go over him. So we're going to start out. So on June 16th, 2017, John Lafferty, a 74-year-old retired IRS special agent, underwent heart surgery. at Christus Mother Frances Tyler Hospital. John was now a farmer and was really healthy and a very active guy. And he had retired from the IRS after 31 years.
I can't imagine the
of
IRS for 31 years.
service. Yeah.
Ooh, no, thank you.
Yeah. So he was currently living in Quitman, Texas, with his wife, Sandra Lafferty. John had suffered a heart attack earlier that year, which is why he was having this heart surgery done. His heart surgery was really routine and wasn't anything like crazy or anything.
So no complications.
No complications. The surgery went really well, and he was recovering there in the cardiac intensive care unit ICU. However, the very next day, the family receives a call stating that something had went wrong, and he had suddenly developed complications, like out of the blue. He was recovering really well. It was said that he was neurologically intact, which means he was like answering questions and checking all the boxes of having a successful recovery, which you will see that's a trend. So he was recovering great, but he all of a sudden just takes a dive. The doctors could not come to a conclusion as to what was causing this. And unfortunately, John's condition slowly deteriorates over several days, and then he dies on June 5th, 2017. So just a couple days later. It was believed at the time that he had suffered just unexplained complications due to his surgery, but they couldn't ever figure out like what the actual
Cause of death
causes
was?
were. Yeah. I'm sorry. I
Do
still
you
have
know?
to adjust
It's okay.
myself.
Do you know what his like symptoms were? Did it list whatever he like his complications were? Like he was, I don't know, all of a sudden
Like,
non-responsive.
So what it was, and you'll come to see, is like their vitals would just plummet. They would crash.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like heart rate, blood pressure, all of
Okay.
that stuff would just plummet.
Okay.
So that was June 25th, 2017 is when he passed.
Okay.
July 25th, so exactly a month later, 2017, Ronald Clark underwent a routine abdominal bypass surgery at Christus Mother Frances there in Tyler. He was a 68-year-old family man, and he was described as an amazing father and husband. His hobbies included gardening and riding his motorcycle.
Oh,
I know, I loved that. For some reason, when a grown man gardens, that makes my heart really
heart
warm. Yeah, just like our father-in-law, he's a gardener.
does garden.
And
It's pretty
he, right before Ashley got here, they were taking my children somewhere while we do this, and he was so excited because he got it's out back. He built a beehive.
Oh, he told me about that. Yes.
And so he was like, "Come here, girls." And so we went over there and looked at it. He is so excited
I
about
know.
getting bees in the spring.
So funny.
So precious. But anyways, so Ronald was one of those. He loved to garden and he would ride his motorcycle. The surgery was to increase the blood flow in his legs. So it wasn't technically a heart surgery. It was literally a vascular surgery to widen his to help the blood flow go to his legs a lot
for
better.
circulation.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yes. And so the procedure went extremely well. And Ronald was in great post-operation condition. He was breathing on his own and neurologically intact. He was expected to make a full recovery and be discharged in a few days. It was also noted that when Donald was asked what his pain level was, he stated it was around a 2 out of 10. So he wasn't in hardly any pain at all. Ronald's daughter actually spoke to him and over the phone just after surgery, and he was telling her how he felt fine and was ready to see her and, all of that stuff. So just after midnight, though, on July 26th, so the day after that at midnight, a nurse discovered his heart rate was in the 40s, which is extremely low for non-medical people. Your heart rate should be around way above that. And so his was in the 40s, which that's real low. This required immediate emergency intervention, obviously, and he began to exhibit stroke-like symptoms, and his body started to shut down. Doctors who were called back to the hospital, because again, this is at midnight, so they call the doctors back to the hospital to examine him for possible surgical complications. They were trying to figure out if he was like bleeding internally or, any other things that they could
If they
find.
left a tool in there.
Something, a sponge, I have
Something.
nightmares of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they could not find anything of note that would be making him have these symptoms. And so Ronald rapidly declined. He became brain dead and ultimately passed away only a day later on July 27th, 2017.
Okay, so our first guy, Mr. Lafferty, took a few days.
Yes.
But this guy started showing symptoms and was gone within like a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
At the time, it was believed that Ronald suffered once again just from complications from his surgery. And it was just kind of unexplained.
What's crazy too? I'm just thinking out loud is that the surgery would have been done by, two different surgeons, because whoever's doing your heart is obviously not the same guy that's probably extending,
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like a team of surgeons for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just not the same surgeon, I guess is what I was getting at, right? Like,
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
nothing.
And
fishy.
and this is at the hospital, so there's many different physicians there, cardiac.
Because if they were all heart patients, then I'd be like, hey, this is a little.
One of
fishy.
y'all, yeah,
A little fishy, but
Yeah.
two totally separate surgeries.
Yes. Okay, so that was on July 27th is when he passed. In August 2017, Christopher Greenaway, a 47-year-old, so younger guy, a decorated Air Force veteran, he was a pilot who served in the Iraq War and was working as a paramedic, underwent a routine heart bypass surgery at Christus in Tyler. He had been really nervous about the surgery, his wife had said, and Chris was in excellent health, and his doctors expected him to make a very rapid recovery. His bypass was very successful, and Chris was in great clinical condition, recovering well in the ICU there. In the early morning hours on August 4th, Chris unexpectedly crashed. His assigned nurse had been at lunch and had returned to find his blood pressure and heart rate has significantly dropped. Chris developed severe acute stroke-like symptoms and quickly went from being conscious and asking for water to being unconscious.
Wow.
Insane. So quick. So a code stroke was initiated, and doctors performed a CT scan, and which revealed a lot of error in his arterial system, particularly in his brain. This error caused clots and blocked blood flow, leading to massive, irreversible brain damage. Physicians were unable to reverse the damage, obviously, and Chris was essentially brain dead. Christopher Greenaway passed away 2 days later from this on August 6, 2017. Medical experts and forensic pathologists concluded the evidence provided that the air bubbles were deliberately put there, obviously, and that's what caused his death, and his death was noted as a homicide. So this is when everybody's radar starts going up.
Okay.
Yeah. So, obviously Christus is a large hospital, but the floor that they're on is for the surgery. And so there's just, and Christus was very well known, a very well known hospital, and still is. It's very reputable, and it's a great hospital. So this was very abnormal. Yeah, obviously, very abnormal for a medical professional to be killed. They deem him a homicide. So
Yeah.
something's
Scary.
afoot. Yeah. So in January 2018, Joseph Kalina, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that wrong. A 58-year-old truck driver from San Antonio, Texas. He was passing through Mount Pleasant when he began to experience heart attack symptoms. So he pulls over, and Joseph was quickly transported to Christus Hospital in Tyler. He underwent an emergency bypass surgery, and the surgery was very successful, and Joseph was reported to have good vital signs and was expected to make a full recovery. He was able to talk and communicate with his wife and his family and his friends. At 1:16 a.m. on January 25th, Joseph's heart rate and blood pressure suddenly dropped significantly. Joseph became unresponsive, and a CT scan showed that he had suffered an air embolism. Joseph had severe brain damage and ultimately remained in a vegetative state until his death a few years later
No.
in 2020. Yeah.
Oh.
So let's talk about the hospital itself, like we were just about to get into. At the time, it was called Trinity Mother Frances, which was a very good and well-respected hospital here, where bad outcomes were very, very uncommon. And they kind of go more into detail about that in the documentary that I watched. But me and Ashley know, I mean, if you're from here, you know that it's a very good hospital. They had recently built a new heart hospital as part of Trinity Mother Frances, and heart patients that had surgery there almost always recovered and actually would go home like within a few days. So very well taken care of. The nursing staff there was always very, I had a friend that worked there and worked on that floor for a few days. But the nursing staff there has always been, top notch. So patients having any extraordinary or bad outcomes is extremely unusual and was very concerning when this started to happen. It's just something they weren't used to seeing. So around the time Christopher Greenaway's death, the hospital did an audit on all of its equipment and did an internal review on all of its medications. But all of these things came back, and I talked to my friend, and she remembers them having the internal audit, and it was just a spider web of different things. So Trinity Mother Frances literally looked at everything they possibly could, whether it be, equipment or staff or just everything.
But they're only looking at these two victims, right? The last two that were brain dead, not the first two that died of unknown complications.
I couldn't ever tell. I know that's when their radars went up.
Okay.
You'll see here in a minute, they start going back to all these others.
Start looking at it.
Yeah. So they do this internal audit and everything, but everything comes back good, and nothing was seen as causing any of these recent deaths, and everything was working properly. The hospital then installs additional cameras in the hallways and stuff at the hospital. So, and in the nursing pods and stuff. And this was just, I think still, even to this point, they were still not thinking that an actual person was doing this. They wanted to see if maybe any of the equipment was accidentally getting knocked over, or if it wasn't being cleaned properly, just all kinds of stuff. I think they were just trying to figure out what was going on.
Eyes on everything.
Yes. So they have these cameras up, and they're starting to try and see what people had the last interactions with, the victims. After the horrible incident with Joseph, the hospital starts reviewing all their CCTV footage because they had put the cameras up, I think, right after Greenaway's death. And so when Joseph, his incident happens, they start combing through all the footage to see what happened to him.
He was the guy in his 40s?
Greenaway was the guy in his 40s, the retired Air Force.
Okay.
And Joseph is the one that just passed and was in a vegetative state.
Okay.
The truck driver.
Yes.
And so they're combing through all this CCTV footage and stuff. And the cameras show that only a few minutes prior to Joseph's crash, a nurse by the name of William Davis enters the room only for about a minute with what looks to be like a very large syringe in his hand. They noted this because he walked in so quickly, and they saw him had the syringe, and he didn't even turn lights on in the room, because obviously this was at 1-something in the morning. So Joseph was asleep. And so Will walks in there and doesn't even turn lights on or anything, and then walks back out without the syringe. So he then leaves the room, like I just said, and walks down the hall to the nurse's station, where he is looking at a screen that shows the vitals of the patients. The hospital promptly interviews Davis. And when you watch the...
Yeah, I'm sorry. So he literally went in. Okay, we're speculating, right? That William went in, injected air into the lines of the victim, and then went back to watch their freaking vitals.
It's
like
it is
crash. What?
It is horrifying to watch in the documentary, and to watch that CCTV footage of him. He literally walks in that room, does what he does, comes back out nonchalantly, walks down to his little nurse's station, and he's got a TV screen that's showing all these vitals, and he's just looking up at it. He's got his hands in his pockets sometimes, and he's just staring up at it. and then he'll kind of look down the hall, and then he'll stare back up at
Like
it.
waiting for his victim
Like
to
just
crash.
literally watching the vitals.
I'm going to say right now, like that gives me such anxiety. Like
it's nauseating.
because he's watching his victim die, right?
Yeah.
Like that's,
he's literally watching his vitals just slowly go. Yeah. And every time I was looking at, and when I was, I sent Ashley a text after watching the documentary and after reading a lot on him and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to nail his ass to the wall.
Yeah.
Because I was just so infuriated for you to sit there, for you to be a medical professional and sit there and watch your patient's vitals slowly plummet.
Right.
And not do anything. I just think that's such an unhuman response.
Especially when you're a nurse, like, these were these are our heroes.
Yes.
They're supposed to be our medical heroes.
Insane. So where he's looking at the screen anyways, and I said that the hospital promptly interviews Davis. And he gave a story that did not match the footage, which was a huge red flag.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. Exactly. So they suspend him. So let's talk a little bit about William Davis.
Yeah. Tell me about this asswipe.
Yeah. William George Davis. He was born on February 3rd, 1984 in Longview, Texas. He grew up in what was described as a very close-knit family. He was the oldest of 4 boys. So a lot of boys there. He was a star football player at his school he attended, and he came in second in his class.
So this is what I'm going to say. He peaked in high school.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right.
And then just. Yeah. So, so he came in second in his class. So he's intelligent.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm already so mad.
You're about to get real mad.
Okay.
After he graduates high school, I know hardly anybody, unless you've seen the documentary, hardly anybody knows this detail. And this is what really pissed me off.
Hit me with it.
After he graduates in high school, he's around 17 years old. Davis waves his first huge red flag when he begins dating a 12-year-old girl.
Nope. Wow. I didn't see that coming.
12-year-old child.
So he's 17.
He's 17 and has graduated high school already.
And he's okay.
And he is dating or wanting to date this 12-year-old girl.
Okay.
Obviously.
Disgusting.
Yes. Obviously, her parents were not going to let that happen.
I would hope not.
And did not approve of this bullshit relationship.
Watch me commit my first murder if you try to come after my 12-year-old daughter.
I will smile in my mugshot.
Yeah.
And I will be happy when Ashley covers me on this podcast. And so her parents obviously did not approve. Shocker. But Davis continues to pursue this. Yeah. So he continues to try and date her, this child. He became extremely obsessed with her. And at one point crashed his car into a tree that was in front of the little girl's home. Because that proves how much you love somebody.
I guess I've never been loved because nobody has crashed a car for me.
I'm going to go ahead and say, Drew, why didn't you ever crash your truck in front of...
Does it count that Jacob accidentally threw me off of a big tractor one day? Does that count as true love? Because that happened.
Accidentally?
He said he was like, oops, sorry. But
oopsie. Oops, hi.
Yeah, throw me off of a tractor.
Oh, that counts. I'll count it.
Love, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll count it. I'll count that. Oh, Lordy. So anyways, he crashes his vehicle in front of her, a tree in front of her home. At that point, the police, I guess, are called to the scene when this happens, but he's not charged with anything because he doesn't have a criminal background before like all this happens. So the police are called, and he doesn't get charged with anything, but he receives mental help, quote unquote. I don't know what that was. I just know that he received mental help, quote unquote.
So they sent him to a counselor. I'm
assuming
That's what it sounds like.
And so Davis receives this mental help. He eventually enrolls in TJC. This is like a year later or so. And this is where his mental health does not improve. He ends up getting diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder. He's prescribed medications all while in college. I think he drops out of college. I didn't really go into too much detail about it because I was so pissed. But I think he drops out of TJC for a hot minute. He gets married. That marriage fails. And then he gets remarried and he goes back to college.
Okay.
So his life picks back up, though, after he gets married the second time and he enters into the nursing program at TJC. And he receives his degree in that field. By 2013, Davis is working as a nurse at Trinity Mother Frances, and is actually pursuing a master's degree. So he was going for
continuing it.
Yes.
Okay.
He was generally well liked and was really good at his job.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he had been working there since 2013.
Okay.
This is 2017 when all this
starts happening.
Supposedly starts happening.
Oh, right. Supposedly starts happening.
Yeah. So, he was, like I said, he was really well liked. Nobody had not really that many bad things to say about him. Yeah. And by 2017, he was actually house hunting for a new house, and his wife was expecting their second child. But as always, things are not what they seem. It was reported that Davis was extremely bad at managing his money and his finances.
Okay.
And he was in debt around $135,000.
And they don't own a house?
They did own a house, and they were looking for a new house.
Okay. So, I mean, a big chunk of the debt could have been that. Or school.
Maybe.
So, I mean.
He had been texting medical friends trying to get some anti-anxiety medication. So he sends some random text messages to some of his, I think some of his coworkers.
Trying to get
some meds, some anti-anxiety meds.
A physician, you probably could just literally go talk to one of your physicians and get something.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, he was in debt however much. And I think
he wants it free out of the medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Underhanded.
So we're going to.
Or under the table.
Yeah.
Whatever they say.
Risk someone else's job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you see, that's kind of something that there's a trend there. Okay. But, yeah, he had all this debt built up, and then his symptoms of his anxiety and stuff, it just starts getting worse. Well, so he sends these people that, texting them, trying to find whatever medication he can. And within those texts, it's reported that he states, quote, "I need something before I get into trouble," end quote.
Ooh.
What? So a forensic pathologist, her name was Dr. Johnny Johnston. She's one of the forensic pathologists that studied him, and she's in the documentary that I watched. And she said about William Davis, mentioning that of all the people that she said she had interviewed and worked with, no matter how bad their depression or anxiety had gotten, they had never said anything about, that's something they wouldn't have said. They wouldn't have said, "I'm about to get into trouble." She said that's not really what somebody like that, when they're going through something like that, would say. So that was when she was reviewing him, she said that was a red flag when he said something like that. So when she, reviewed those text messages, that really stood out to her. After the hospital staff reviewed all of the footage and interviewed Davis, they suspended him from the hospital, like I said earlier, and did a review into Davis and all of the prior patients that were in his care, and then all of the ones that he had interacted with that had the bad outcomes after their surgery. After connecting the few dots that they could, they then called Tyler PD because they now have some
reason to believe
that he has been intentionally doing this. Tyler PD investigators, along with doctors and staff at Trinity Mother France, I'm just going to say TMF.
Okay.
TMF reviewed all previous patients that had been had bad outcomes with similar symptoms and deaths. They believed what had been happening was that Davis was injecting air into the arterial line of the patients as they were post-surgery. Typically, nothing is injected into this line. It's used for two main reasons, which one of them is continuous real-time blood pressure monitoring and frequent arterial blood sampling. So it's just a line that you can when you have a blood pressure cuff on, that they read your blood pressure. And if you've ever been in the hospital, they keep that one on you, and every once in a while it squeezes you, you can tell. An arterial line after surgery gives a more real-timed, you can continuously monitor that blood pressure.
Okay.
And then take blood samples if needed. And so when air is injected into this line, the air goes to the highest point, which laying in a hospital bed is usually going to be your head.
Wow.
So when you have air travel to the brain, that then blocks the blood getting to the brain, which causes the stroke. So then from around 10 to 30 minutes, I couldn't really get like a good time, so I'm going to 10 to 30 minutes is what I found. The air is absorbed by the brain. So it's basically a murder weapon that disappears. So this is why it took them, they couldn't find what was going on.
Oh my
because the air would travel to the brain, cause the stroke, and then the brain absorbs that air after like 30 minutes. It's gone.
Okay.
So insane. Police then interview Davis. Early into the investigation, it was said that Davis actually reached out to the investigators and asked if they had spoken with his attorney yet, which was really odd, and the investigators thought was really odd. So he was suspended. He's sitting at home. He's probably spiraling because he knows something's afoot.
Days are numbered.
And like most serial killers do, they want to be involved in the investigation.
They want to be close to it. For
yes.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so he calls the investigators to say, have you talked to my attorney yet? And they were like,
oh, why?
Oh, no.
Why, you little walking
yet.
red flag?
Yes. Yeah. Why, you little red flag person? So they noted this is really odd. But then they did do a phone interview with him when I'm assuming when he calls to ask him this, they then do a phone interview with him over the phone.
Okay.
They then do the phone interview, I believe, where Davis would actually bring up and so during this phone interview, he's the one that would bring up the arterial line. Like, I don't know, and I could never figure out what exactly was said, but he would question the investigators during this phone interview on arterial lines and bad outcome patients, and I think he was trying to really divert the attention on him and was just saying, how weird it was that all this was happening, and was saying that they need to check the arterial lines of the patients or something. I don't know. But it was mentioned.
Wow, thank you so much for your help, Will.
Case closed, Will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Investigation.
Absolutely, because they just think everybody's dumb.
Yeah.
And so anyways, but when the investigators would ask about specific patients, he would choke up and get really nervous. So the investigators would ask him if he had any interactions with certain patients, or ask him about a certain patient that had either passed or had the bad outcome. And he would get extremely nervous. And in the documentary, the investigator was he would get real choked up and he could barely talk because he would get so nervous over the phone.
I was going to say, are these still phone calls?
Yes, they're still on the phone.
It's not in an interrogation room. This is over the phone. Okay.
Yes. And so at the end of this interview, one of the detectives asked flat out Davis if he had injected air into anyone's arterial line. And his response to this was, I won't answer that without my attorney.
Guilty.
Case closed.
Guilty.
Case closed.
Because if you're not guilty, the answer is easy. The answer is easy if you didn't do it.
Why would you say that? I just don't get it. And that always blows my mind when we're researching serial killers and stuff. They always say that one little thing that's just what?
Yeah.
Okay, you did it. If a police officer was interviewing me and I'm a nurse and he said, did you intentionally inject air to try and kill this patient?
Right.
My response would be absolutely not.
Right.
That's insane. I don't know. And he answers in that way. It's just so
not answering
crazy.
Without my attorney.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer without my attorney. Oh, okay. You need your attorney to deny that? Okay. So unfortunately, the investigators and the hospital staff could only review cases within the past year just because of how long the hospital keeps those post-surgery and surgery documents or records.
Okay, wait.
I know.
Okay, I'm really confused. So, all right.
I know, that's what they said.
My mind is
typically, because I used to be in the medical field, and we would do like 5 to 10 years. But I didn't work in a hospital. I worked in clinics.
So you mean to tell me that if you have somebody that kind of died of an unknown cause, like you couldn't figure it out, after a year, we can delete these? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what they said. They could only review like the past year.
Was it a statute of limitations maybe? Like
I don't know.
Go back? Okay.
It just said due to the hospital not having those records. Which I'm sure they changed that. I would hope. So anyways, so the past year, because that's how long the hospital kept the records. So they were only able to confirm the cases of John Lafferty, Ronald Clark, Christopher Greenaway, and Joseph Kalina. They had imaging. So they had the CT scans of all these patients. They had the CCTV footage, and they had a lot of other documentation that, was bad for old freaking Davis there.
I was going to say, you know what? Maybe it does make sense. Like they probably don't have surveillance footage for that far back. So there's that. So there's no proof to say.
Well, they had just within that past year is when they had put the additional cameras up.
Okay, so that's probably really what they can't do. It's probably not that medical records are gone.
No,
and they can't go back and investigate if somebody died mysteriously because there's nothing to be tested, right?
No, and I'm
gone. And that's probably what they mean by they can't go back more than.
Yeah, and I'm sure that people. I don't know. This is in 2017, so I'm not sure. But I mean, even now, because I use Christus, I use them, and they have a thing that's like your My Chart on your phone, and I can pull up all of the imaging I've ever had and all of the tests that I've ever had done. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just because they don't keep it themselves there physically at the hospital on that floor or what. But anyways, somebody maybe, do you know?
Is there a medical professional that knows?
Yeah. Give us a hint. I should have probably asked my friend. And so they had all those patients that I mentioned, they did have all that they needed for them. But they also had a list of other patients that they suspected were also victims of Davis's. It was confirmed that 7 patients died due to air being injected into their arterial line that they could find. Yeah, 7.
Okay. That they could find. So investigators at this point decided to pay old William Davis a visit. And on April 10th, 2018, he was arrested for the murder of the 4 confirmed deaths or cases. He is held in Smith County on an $8.75 million bond, which is a lot. Davis is in jail awaiting trial, and then COVID hits. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this. So I remember when all this was happening, and then I remember them arresting him, and then COVID hit, and everybody was so frustrated because they were just wanting to get this
behind
trial done. Yeah. So COVID hits, which pushes the proceedings back. And during this time is when Joseph Kalina passes away. So the one that was in the vegetative state. Oh. So now they tack on that because his death, he died due to that. So now they tack his death on too. So now it's 5. On September 28th, 2021, William Davis pleads not guilty. Yeah. The evidence was overwhelming, though. The investigators uncovered that Davis was the only nurse on duty over a 6-month period from June until January 20th, 2018, at the time of each of these incidences. He was the only nurse on duty.
Well, yeah, he couldn't have any witnesses, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. The trial lasted for 3 weeks and was highly televised. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us remember that. But after this long, grueling trial, the jury deliberated for only 1 hour. It was a 3-week trial, and the jury deliberated for 1 hour, which that says a lot right there. William Davis was found guilty of 4 counts of capital murder. So
they tried to get him with 5, but they only convicted him of 4.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. The victim impact statements were so heart-wrenching. One in particular was Miss Blanks. She was the wife of James Blank, who on January 6, 2017, died by the same circumstances as the other victims after having a successful triple bypass surgery at Trinity Mother Frances. In Mrs. Blank's statement, she stated, "My husband did not deserve to die like that. I forgive you because God tells us to forgive, and I'm led by the Holy Spirit to tell you because we won't be forgiven if we don't forgive." And so she kind of, in the documentary, she speaks in the documentary, and I just loved her so much. She was, you can just tell she's a very fiery old woman. But she loved her little husband so much. And, it was just the same exact circumstances. And I just think that they didn't have enough of that concrete evidence to, charge, William with, Mr. Blanks' death. But she was there all during the trial, and he was on the list of who he was.
Potential victim.
Yes, absolutely. In the documentary I watched, at the end of it, one of the former investigators that were on the case was very taken back by Mrs. Blank's statement to Davis. And that investigator in the documentary, he said, quote, "So often you expect it to be vengeance and anger and all of these things. And here is a woman offering forgiveness and really pointing Davis to the finality and the eternal decisions of his actions. The truth of the matter that there was a higher judge that he is going to have to answer to, and he has to be ready for that," which that gave me goosebumps when that man said that documentary. What is particularly sick to me, get off here. Stop it. There we go. Sorry. My screen. I'm trying this new thing. I'm reading it off of my screen on my other laptop, and I don't know if I like it, to be quite honest. I like my paper notes. What is particularly sick to me, though, is that while Davis was in jail awaiting sentencing, he would call his wife at the time. She had no idea about any of this. So this was just as shocking to her, to a lot of the hospital staff, because I was talking to my friend about this case because she actually worked on the floor with him for one day, and she remembers him.
I think we see this a lot, though, that serial killers they live a normal life.
Yeah.
A lot of them, oddly enough. So the fact that he had a wife and kids, the fact that he was liked at work and that he worked well with others, like, that's not shocking.
No.
Yeah.
And it says that in the documentary. She goes, the forensic psychologist, she goes through that. She says, a psychopath is somebody that is extremely well at being the neighbor next door and somebody that you speak with on a regular basis. And they know how to, be a normal person. They're really good at it.
We're going to see that in my case next. Another masker.
Another masker. And so he calls his wife while he's in jail. And hearing those conversations, it made my heart hurt for her so freaking bad. And in the documentary, they play some of the calls, and the calls were actually played at his sentencing, which I'll tell you in a second. But it is so hard hearing her. Hearing those conversations, like I said, just breaks my heart. He was stating things like, quote, "I'm not a malicious man. I wanted you to have a nice car. I wanted to have a nice truck. And I tried to work as much as I could. I couldn't afford to be off, and I couldn't afford to call off. And I made sure that people stayed in ICU a bit longer, just a little bit longer, so that our numbers would work out, so that we could take in, so I could work," end quote. So he's essentially saying he was trying to do this so he could work longer, which that's not how that works. That's not how that works, especially if you're killing people.
Okay.
Just because you kill somebody, that's what he was telling her.
So if I'll go back to Mr. Lafferty because he's the name I can remember right now. If he was supposed to be discharged the next day, so William goes in and injects air into him to prolong his time in ICU.
Which he's an idiot. and he's thinking his wife was an idiot, which she was not.
So this is the reason he gives, though.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so was this? So I'm going to assume then it was to collect overtime or more hours, meaning he gets more money. Because
all of that was bull crap.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like trying to think about it.
No.
I'm like, okay, well, they all work in shifts.
No.
I'm trying to think. Like,
he's a straight up murderer psychopath and loved killing people and loved watching them die. And he's telling his wife at the time that he was
a financial decision.
Lie. Yeah, he makes this lie up and is trying to justify his actions and telling her that he was just trying to make them stay in the hospital longer,
so that he could make more money.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that, because I was trying.
Yeah.
Like,
but I was even thinking about
to make that work.
Yeah. But I was even thinking about it too. Like, let's say he didn't inject air into the arterial line and he was just like giving them something to make them sicker longer. I don't know if let's go with his excuse, right? He's wanting them to be in there longer. That still doesn't work. You end your shift.
Oh,
as a nurse, you're going to end your shift and go home. There ain't nothing. There's patients in that hospital 24/7. There's nurses coming in and out on their shift all the time. Okay. You're not going to. I mean, unless there's a nurse that calls in sick, then maybe you'll probably get some overtime. But I mean, he's reeling, trying to give an excuse as to why he did this, which there isn't any. He's a psychopath and he loved killing people.
All right. Well, thank you for explaining that, because I was like trying to figure it out. I'm like, wait a second. How is he, financially benefiting from?
Those are words from a crazy person.
You don't get a bonus when they die. Like, I'm trying to figure out how this is okay.
But he's telling yes. And so in these conversations, which you're hearing him telling his wife this, you can tell he's just one of those people I want to punch in the face so bad, because he thinks everybody else is so dumb. And that's what's so infuriating. And so you can tell when he's talking to her, he's trying to give these excuses to her, but you can tell she knows that that's not it anymore.
Okay. I want to point out his narcissistic behavior about making it about like, I was doing this for you and I was making these sacrifices and all these things.
Yeah.
Like literally step off.
Yes. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for killing 5 people. Or
oh my
way
gosh.
more.
What
but
love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, Jacob has never killed for me. Do you even love me, Jacob? I don't know.
I don't know. Now I'm questioning our marriage. Oh, geez. So anyways, he said those phone calls are wild. So anyways, he's essentially saying what he was doing was to have more work, which we've already discussed. These calls were played at the sentencing hearing. And in these calls, his wife is begging him to stand up and apologize to the families. And hearing her say that, she's literally begging him in the phone conversation. Please just tell them you're sorry. You have to give them something. You have to tell them why. You have to give them something. You have to apologize to them. And you can tell that she's just so heartbroken for the families and the victims. She's just, she can barely talk on the phone. So Davis is sentenced to death at his sentencing hearing, and he is on death row in Livingston, Texas. As of today, no execution date has been set for Davis. His case is currently in the early stages of the appeal process because we appealed. In March of 2025, Davis filed for a petition to have his conviction vacated, citing reasons including his trial attorney's arrest during the trial.
Wait, his attorney was arrested?
Yes. During the trial.
I need deets.
Yes, I will give them. So during the trial, an alleged withheld evidence. So he's saying that his attorney was arrested during the trial and he withheld evidence from William.
Then what proved him innocent?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Davis's attorney, Philip Hayes, was arrested in October of 2021 for soliciting of prostitution.
Okay. That's more believable. That's more believable that he was arrested for trying to solicit a little sex worker versus that he withheld evidence. Yeah.
During a major trial, during a 3-week trial, he just couldn't hold it in his pants.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it.
Well, it's stressful when you're when you're representing somebody that's freaking guilty.
Yeah, psychopath.
Yeah, okay.
So anyways, so Hayes was detained the night of October 5th, 2021 for allegedly messaging and arranging a meeting with an undercover law enforcement officer who was posing as an escort.
Rock on.
Man, the irony.
Okay, so side note, way back when I actually worked with.
What are you about to tell me?
Oh, way back when it was somebody that I worked with way back in the day. He
Okay.
didn't make it very long at our employment or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, he didn't make it very long. But like we knew he was kind of spiraling, like his life had kind of gotten a little rocky, a little out of control.
Oh God.
But we, on the Smith County Busted, he popped up a couple years ago for just that, soliciting.
Well, I don't see how people still do that because right there, undercover law enforcement officers, that's some of them, that's all they do
Yeah.
is pose on there, or pose as a sex worker.
Yeah, I just don't ever think about it. Like Tyler's not big. We're not huge.
Yeah.
We're not like a big.
We're not a major city.
Right. So it's wild to me that to think about that in some parts we still have some of these, ladies of the night.
Absolutely, we
walking around.
do. Oh, I know.
So,
Yeah.
in our small town.
Yes.
So,
But I just thought it was so funny that attorney, I was reading on there and I was like, oh, damn, he got arrested during trial. And I was like, oh, damn, for soliciting prostitution. And then I was like, oh, damn.
how
a cop
embarrassing.
he solicited an undercover cop.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. I was like, wow, that sucks.
Can you imagine as the
But what
officer?
really sucks is that his dumbass choices, the has now given William the ammo he needs to file appeal. And I really hope he doesn't get it.
Oh, so you said that was in March of this year. March
Yes, in March
2025.
of 2025, he filed a petition to have his conviction
Overturned.
vacated. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. And like I said, a date hasn't been set, but he is still on death row right now. So, and they, when we requested records, they're still combing through people because they still think that there was a lot more victims than what they found. So there's no telling. And once again, he'd been working there since 2013. And this all came to light in 2017.
I mean, and I don't know if you know this or not. Was this the only place that he worked after he got
That's
his
all I
degree?
could find.
Okay,
That's
so
all
it's
I
not
could
like
find.
he came from somewhere else, or
I'm pretty sure he went straight to Trinity Mother Francis when he graduated.
I mean, if he
Or
worked
when he got
here,
his
went to
degree.
school here, that's probably makes sense. If he went
Yes,
straight to one of those. Okay, I just didn't know if maybe we could trailed him around to other places.
Yeah, I looked. That's the only thing that I could find was he went straight there.
These poor
So
kiddos, because he's got two. You said right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you imagine his first ex-wife? She's like, dodge that freaking bullet.
Yes.
He's like, can you imagine?
Or that poor 12-year-old.
Oof. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. He's
Luckily, he's behind bars, though.
Yeah. Sounds like he's been a piece of shit for a
Yeah.
while.
Sounds like he is at where he needs to be.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Wow. William
I
Davis,
was expecting it to be, I know, I was just telling Ashley this before we started recording. I was expecting it to be like a huge, long case. Which, I mean, I could have probably turned it into that with, but I just really kind of wanted more so to focus on the victims and kind of their backgrounds and stuff, which I couldn't find too much on the victims' backgrounds. But yeah, and they're still they're still investigating.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's still so much open that they're still investigating, then yeah. Maybe in another 4 or 5 years, we'll have a bigger follow-up story.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated if there's any updates on old William. That'll be our crime corner.
Yeah.
We can add it to the crime corner. But anyways, that is all.
Okay.
For old the angel of death.
Wow.
And just to let everybody know, some people don't know this. An angel of death in crime world is somebody that is like a healthcare worker that intentionally kills their patients.
Okay. You know what? That makes a lot of sense because when I was
There's a bug.
When I was researching something or requesting records for us or researching like who to do next or something, I had seen your notes titled Angel of Death. And then I actually came across another one I think she's going to be, I know she's going to be kind of a stretch for us.
There is a
I
gnat
know.
wanting us to end this podcast.
Yeah. She may be a little bit out of our territory, but
Yeah.
she was in the medical field. So now that makes sense because
Yeah.
she was also labeled
An angel of death.
An angel
Yes.
of death.
Because typically what they do is they say that they mercy kill their patients, like patients that are suffering, they kill them. But I don't. So, and when people call him an angel of death, I'm not sure if he is a true one because he maliciously killed these people that were recovering well and we're going to make it and just to do it, I think. So who knows? But that's what an angel of death is technically, a medical professional that intentionally kills their patients.
Okay, well,
so
that makes sense.
there you go. End of story. Come back next Friday for Ashley's
For mine.
or Ashley's case.
And I've got, he's a weird monster and it's odd and it makes you cringe. And anyway, so yes, he's going to be a good one to listen to though.
Okay.
But
I'm excited. I'm
creepy.
excited when it's your cases and not mine.
When you get
When
to
I get to listen and commentate.
Yeah, it is nice. It
Yes.
is nice when you just get to listen
Yes, it is.
and not report.
Oh, well, guys, hopefully our freaking outro doesn't get cut out. Sorry
Again
about
this
that
week.
sorry about that. I'll go home to edit and I was devastated.
Yeah.
And I voice messaged Ashley and I was like, no.
It's okay. It worked
It was
out.
literally
fine.
the last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So hopefully you get to hear our outro this time.
Yeah.
But if you have a case or any recommendations, please email us at inlawsandcrime@gmail.com.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, thank you.
We're on Facebook, Spotify, Apple, YouTube,
TikTok,
Instagram.
Instagram. And yeah, so follow along on our journey.
Yes.
That is growing. And thank you everybody for the likes and the commenting on our stuff and all of that stuff. It's so fun to get comments and stuff.
Yeah,
so
and for sharing, for people that
yeah,
share
and sharing
it. Yeah,
stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yes, we do. The more you do it, the better we will grow.
Yeah, the more we'll grow.
Yes. But anyway, so keep your roots deep
And your head on a swivel.
Bye.